Hello everybody, welcome back to Jerfish Entertainment and doing a little bit of work here on the XMAXX. So the top kept popping off in some of my videos. You might have seen that on certain rolls. And what I've come to determine, and from looking through some forums, it has something to do with body flex. So you can see here, there is this rigid understructure that is part of the XMAXX, and it attaches with a clip in the back, and then in the front it just has a hook right here that goes into the body. And sometimes this can flex on maybe on a nosedive, and that causes it to pop out of those mountings. If you add some rigidity to the body, it can potentially prevent that from occurring. So there's a few different ideas, such as using hex pipe and connecting that in between those parts of the frame, and also reinforcing the lexan body with Gorilla Tape, which I have lots of, in order to not only provide some structural rigidity, but also prevent some of these cracks like the ones that are forming on here now. It prevents that from getting worse, but also if you do that ahead of time, will prevent it in general, and potentially will also stop some of that body flex. So it's going to be a little bit of a project to do that. I have to disassemble the entire body for that. Also, another thing I got are some washers, hopefully the right size, for these guys, because the screws themselves tend to pull through without any kind of extra support. You can see I have a couple of things with some support there. There's a spongy one here, but I'm going to try some metal washers to see if that'll get it done. So the first thing I'm going to do is just disassemble the entire frame support that is on here so I can get it cleaned up and taped up. Okay, now that we're fully disassembled, we can start looking into some of the repairs. There's some pretty big holes that I'm going to need to repair. That's, I think, where some of the Gorilla Tape will come into play. So I'm going to get that taped up here along the different lengths of it. We are all taped up on the inside. Got my holes for the mounting all done there. Just got to reassemble the overall frame and we'll kind of go from there. Mechanisms are all back installed. Looks correctly as well. The inside here, one thing of note were the hinge screws here, and making sure you get everything in the right orientation isn't too bad. These were pulled through so bad already, I had to reinforce that instead of just using the initial washers, putting in some plastic also. Now the next step of this is reinforcing the structural rigidity from here to here using a piece of red PEX tubing. Well, more rigid than it was, we'll say. We'll see how it works out.